Hey, what's going on, guys? Justin here, back again for stage 3 of the Gator build. That's right, we're throwing stuff around here in this stage, and we're getting ready for some armor. Listen, if you don't remember, if you haven't seen them yet, stage 1 we knocked out the PPF wrap, along with the suspension, of course, wheels and tires and brakes. Stage 2, we gave the Gator a little bit more of a performance bump thanks to an exhaust, intercooler, and some other parts like that air raid snorkel. And then in stage 3 here, guys, we're gonna add the armor, right? We need some armor for the Gator here in addition to some lighting. Got a lot of killer parts in store for this particular stage, so you are not gonna wanna miss it. Now guys, don't forget, this thing could be yours. That's right, the Gator could be in your driveway. All you have to do is go to extremeterrain.com. Every buck you spend there is gonna get you an entry towards a Gator. Got all summer long to make those purchases, get those entries in. We're closing down the drawing September 30th and then doing the drawing October 31st. So again, guys, stage 3 here, armor, lighting. Something tells me that's not the only heavy lifting I'm gonna be doing here in this video. So let's start breaking out some parts. All right, guys, kicking us off here for stage 3, we got a big time upgrade from our friends over at Morimoto. Check out the XB RGB projector headlights on the Gator. Guys, big fan of these lights. Now, don't get me wrong, the stock headlights, we did have the signature lighting package on our Badlands here, but they could always be a little bit better, right? And that is certainly the case when we're talking about the Morimotos. We're switching from an LED reflector style housing to an LED projector. So that's going to increase our output on the low beam side over 150% and high beam side over 80%. So big time upgrade, not only in the looks department, but also in the functionality department. But let's talk about the RGB aspect of the Morimotos here, because that is definitely one of the big pros. As you can see, we got them set to amber now. I like the amber, kind of gives off that Bronco Raptor vibe, but the sky's the limit here when we're talking about colors. We got red, we got green, blue, yellow, purple, all the good stuff. But ultimately coming back to the amber is where I think it's gonna be at for us. But you do have that freedom, that flexibility with the RGBs to get creative, change it up depending on your mood. So again, big thanks to our friends over at Morimoto for hooking us up big time here, kicking off what is the first of many lighting upgrades to come. We got the Bronco grill back in. It's starting to take shape, but obviously we're still missing something down here, and I think that's coming up next. All right, guys, let's talk bumpers, because Joe and I have been very busy in that regard. Starting up front here, we got the Barricade Adventure HD front bumper on the Gator here, guys, for a couple of different reasons. First and foremost, big fan of the Barricade stuff. Super affordable, fits the Bronco extremely well. We got that durable 2-stage powder coat in place, but it is loaded with features. First and foremost, guys, we knew that factory Everglades Bronco does have a winch, of course, so we wanted to go ahead and make that happen on the Gator. It's a lifeline, right? So if we ever get this thing in a tough spot, can't get out on our own, well, we know we have a lifeline in the place of the Barricade 12,000-pound winch. That's a big old monster there. Should help pull us out of any sticky situation we may get ourselves in. This also has an overrider option. We have it installed. You can throw a couple lights up there if you'd like. We did not, but it's nice to know you have some additional placement. Along with that 12,000-pound winch from Barricade, some nice shiny bits from Factor 55. We have their 1.5-inch Haas Fairlead and the Ultra Hook, basically the Swiss Army knives of basically recovery hooks here, guys. Open and closed recovery points. Just a really, really nice piece. Getting back to the Barricade though, guys, really big fan of the high approach angles here. It's a nice looking bumper. I really dig it. Of course, we have our recovery points down low, but let's talk about the lighting that we have in place. My man Randy from KC really hooked us up here for the Gator build. Let's first talk about the fog lights in our front bumper. This is their SAE dual mode fog light. Basically, it gives you the benefit of a factory fog, 50 state legal, with some additional firepower. So Joe, hit me with number 3, sir, if you don't mind. So here we go. This is our factory, basically fog light, for lack of a better word. 2 lens options. We got the amber or yellow installed. It also includes a clear if you want. So this is what you're gonna drive around on, basically those kind of foggy, bad weather days. But once you hit that dirt, hit me with number 2, sir. Pow, there we go. We got a full-blown off-road light down below here, and that's gonna give us that extra firepower that we need, along with some additional lighting down the road. So really, really big fan of these. Plus they hook us up with the round bezels to fit the 3-inch openings perfectly. So again, big fan of the Barricade. Adaptive cruise control works nice. So we got our parking sensors. Really a lot to like here about this bumper. But let's head to the back because we got some matching stuff back there. Jack, if you would, sir. All right, more Barricade goodies back here, guys. This is the HD rear bumper to match up with our front. D-ring points here, guys. Obviously, that same plate steel heavy-duty build that we saw up front, dual-stage powder coat. Also got the parking sensors, along with some 3-inch cube mounting locations. Now, Joe had to get a little creative here with the lights, but this is also the Flex Era 3. This is another dual-mode light, but it's a little bit different from the ones we saw up front. So, Joe, if you could hit me with number 6. So this is, again, our amber runner here, guys. This is a great option to have on those bad weather days, or if you're trail riding with some buddies, you need a marker light, this is a great thing to have in place so everybody can keep an eye on you and know where you are at all times. But there is dual mode functionality. So if you were to throw this pig in reverse real quick for us, Joe. So there you go, guys, the reverse lights. I wired them into the reverse light factory switch. Joe, you can kill those if you want. Blinding you guys at home, but you get the point, right? So really proud of this setup here. Again, the dual mode functionality. What I did was wire the reverse lights or the white lights into our factory reverse light harness so they come on automatically anytime you throw this thing in reverse. And I put those ambers on number 6 on our factory auxiliary panel. So I really love the dual mode functionality. It's fun to play with. A little bit more challenging when it comes time for wiring, but it does give you the functionality that other simple cube lights do not. So again, big thanks to KC. We are not done with KC Highlights. In fact, we got some really big firepower stuff coming up next, but we skipped over the side steps. We are lacking in that department right now. That is about to change, so let's handle it. All right, guys, so Joe and I have been busy here on the side of the Gator. Let's talk about one key area of the build here that I'm very excited about. Now, if you have a stock Bronco and you got the factory rock rails, well, those things are pretty stout, right? However, they are lacking in one big area, and that is a functional step. Now, when you start lifting your Bronco like we did, 3 to 4 inches, adding big 37s, well then, that can pose a bit of a challenge getting into and out of your Bronco. So, let me introduce you to the best case scenario, guys. These are the Rockslide Engineering deployable side steps, what with a built-in rock rail. I mean, again, best case scenario, best of both worlds, whatever you want to say, these are it. Now, I actually saw these for the first time in person at the last year's SEMA show. They were on every Bronco out there. I mean, it was pretty crazy, but now I know why, because they are just packing so much awesome features in one nice little package here. Now, first and foremost, protection, right? That's what you guys want. That's what you're gonna get here. 10 gauge steel, nice durable powder coat. They're gonna protect your rocker area and a good bit underneath here as well. But when it comes to entering or exiting your Bronco, well, this is automatically gonna deploy 12 inches whenever you open or close your door. And that's just gonna make entering or exiting your Bronco a much easier task. Now, they actually kicked in some lights here, so whenever those steps drop down, it's nice and lit up. I like that. But most importantly, guys, these are gonna provide you with a ton of functionality, both in protection and with entering and exiting your Bronco. So enough about these guys. Let's move up because there's another part we worked on up here, guys. And Jack, if you can kind of get a look-see up there, that's the KC Cyclone V2 rock light kit. KC really hooked us up again. We talked about the front and rear lights, but Joe and I went ham under here. He got really custom with the mounting. They look great, low profile, and most importantly, they're gonna provide us with a lot of really cool light. At nighttime, whether we're just cruising or we're hitting the rocks, we need to help place the tire on a certain obstacle. They're gonna illuminate everything very well. I actually have 6 of these things throughout the Bronco, 1 in each fender liner and 2 right in the middle of the rig, so it casts a nice amber glow. But you can change that lens out if you want easily at any time, red, green, blue, even clear. We like the amber, we got kind of a consistent theme going on with that. But IP68 waterproof rating, the highest available, so even if we bury this thing in water, those are still gonna shine nice and bright. 600 lumens, speaking of bright, guys, 15 individual Samsung SMD chips. They're awesome. Again, thanks to Randy for hooking us up here. Lifetime warranty, and most importantly, they just look really cool. So we're not done with the KC lighting yet. We have one more thing to go, but first we have to make room for that. So we're gonna get the Bronco down, get to work on the top of this thing, and I'll show you guys next. All right, guys, so Joe and I just wrapped up 2 heavy hitters to round out stage 3 here. It's been kind of a marathon stage. We've got a lot going on, but let's talk about our two final parts here. Starting with the Vanguard Craftsman Roof Rack. Vanguard, kind of a relative newcomer in the Bronco world, but so far, guys, I've been very impressed with what we've seen here with this particular roof rack. Structural steel build, that's very important for us, and you'll see why in the next stage. But this thing can support up to 500 pounds on-road, 350 pounds off-road. Now the point there is that once you get off-road, you start bouncing things around, takes a toll. So you just want to keep that in mind. But regardless, both of those figures should be more than enough for what we have in store up next. Outside of that, guys, it went together very easily. Everything's well labeled. You have 8 crossbars here to give you support and room for a lot of cargo for one, but also for maybe a possible roof tent or whatever else you might have in mind. They do include 3 stainless tie downs. I like that. And again, it just fits nice. It looks great. I like this little wind deflector they throw in up here. More importantly, it makes room for our final piece from our friends over at KC Hi-Lites. This is the Gravity 6 Pro 39-inch bar. Guys, this thing is an absolute monster. Yes, it looks awesome, but that's besides the point because this thing's throwing out an eye-piercing nearly 14,000 lumens. 6 120-watt LED lights here, guys. Basically enough to throw all of the light and then some, along with our Morimotos and the additional KC lighting in the bumper. So off-road lighting at night, certainly not going to be an issue. They do include these nice little covers here. You can pop them off. Obviously, there's your light behind it. And the best part is, guys, thanks to our factory up switches here, or auxiliary switches, this is wired in perfectly to our first switch, guys. That's rated for 30 amps. This thing's only drawing about 8 to 9 amps. So more than enough room. We're not gonna have to worry about popping fuses or anything like that. And overall, a pretty easy install, thanks again to that Vanguard roof rack. So again, 2 heavy hitters here, guys, to round out an already pretty stout stage. Really liking how everything's looking, and more importantly, it's gonna make room for things to come in the next stage. All right, guys, so there you go, stage 3, that is a wrap, and yes, it was a doozy, right? Armor, check. We got those Barricade bumpers, Rockslide engineering steps in place to make sure we protect that gator skin. Lighting, obviously big check as well, thanks to the Morimotos, and a plethora of lighting from our friends at KC Hi-Lites. But guys, again, we're not done with this thing. Up next, we got a lot of fun parts going on that I think you guys will really dig. Guys, don't forget, the Gator could be yours. You could be wheeling this monster. All you gotta do is go to extremeterrain.com, spend $1, spend $1,000. For every $1 you spend, you get an entry to win the Gator. So get on that. Drawing ends September 30th. We're actually gonna pull the winner on October 31st, Halloween, so get those entries in while you can. In the meantime, guys, I'm Justin. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more from the Gator.